Hey guys, we're back. Golly, the weather is changing way too much. I find myself. It's an early Monday morning. Okay, so it's like one morning you're looking at a colder day, a windier day, and it just affects everything. Like I can just tell my throat is. I'm not battling any sickness. Don't worry about it. But you could just tell I'm in my you could tell I'm in my morning state of, trying to wake up, right? So this one's an early wake up. We got some stuff to do today, that's for sure. And one of these things I want to do today was, do the pod, right? Because the Bruins are coming off a 3-game road trip where, yeah, they lost all three. And that's not exactly what I wanted to see from the team. But then again, we'll get into it. But you could have probably expected it based on the strength of schedule, right? So, yeah, no, I don't know why I sound like this. The voice is deeper and everything, but yeah, coming off a 3-game road trip, Bruins are on a 4-game losing streak. Not ideal, but I'm not super worried about it if these certain things go certain ways. So we're gonna get into all this. Welcome to another episode of the Marcusi Show. I am your host, Marcus, the only one. It is a cloudy slash muggy Monday morning, we'll call it, and it's a perfect weather segue into how I'd say I could feel about the Bruins at this current moment in time. So yeah, there's a little bit of that. Quick update on me, real quick. What was it? We covered a nationally televised college hockey game. Michigan State visited Boston University this Friday and Saturday. I covered Friday's game for the hockey blog at school. Copped this sick T-shirt. Hold on, wait, can you guys? Yeah, it says like Winter Surge. It's not even winter though, but I'm not complaining. It's a nice T-shirt. So yeah, I love these kinds of like T-shirt giveaways. It's one of my favorite things. Speaking of giveaways, if we're gonna be on the me update real quick, you guys know how I love Selly, right? You guys know how I love the Providence Bruins too, and we'll talk about a bit of the Providence Bruins today. Selly sent us both Providence Bruins hats from their AHL release. These are absolutely gorgeous. I showed them off on my Instagram, but I wanted to show them off here. If you guys are watching on the YouTube or the Spotify stream, I love these. They're stitched perfectly. I don't know which one I like more, but yeah. Shout out to the guys at Selly. They're absolutely amazing. They make awesome hats, and I'm glad I could finally cop a few that are, should I say, Boston Bruins affiliated, Bruins niche affiliated. Yeah, I've been rocking with the P Bruins for a bit, the Baby Bees. We're gonna talk about the P Bruins a bit today. So yeah, just want to show you all that and do a little me update. What else is going on? What else? Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I want to show you guys the hats and everything. So, yeah, things are in full swing. Oh, and by the way, Michigan State and BU had like 33 or 34 draft picks playing on one sheet of ice. It's insane. Unfortunately, BU wasn't able to get a dub out of it, but we move on, we continue, we advance, because Hockey East play is about to start in college hockey, and that's how you know things are about to get real. So I'm gonna keep clearing my throat throughout this one. I'm sorry. I just want to apologize in advance. It's the morning voice. It's the morning voice. So let's just get over it and let's just do this thing. All right. So we're coming off a 3-game road trip. A winless 3-game road trip against the Vegas Golden Knights, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Utah Mammoth, no longer the Utah Hockey Club. They just released their new mascot, Tusky. Honestly, not a bad look, but in general, yeah, not exactly what we wanted to see from the Bruins, especially after coming off that Tampa Bay loss where they fought back. But I felt like coming off of this Tampa loss and going into this 3-game away game stretch, the strength of schedule was going to be hard. You're playing an obvious cup contender in Vegas who just got Mitch Marner. You're playing Colorado, and then you're playing an emerging team like Utah. And I just wanted to talk about some of the trends I noticed in each game. I'm not going to go through and recap every single one, but I'll do a bit of a gloss over. The Vegas game I wasn't able to watch in depth as much, but what I will say is that, the Bruins were down a bit. It was a very high scoring game. They almost came back, but it was one where it was like, the bottom six was kind of bailing you out in a sense. That's at least what I saw. And we'll talk about some of the overall or the overarching themes in these games. But yeah, 6-5 loss didn't exactly look like a 6-5 loss, but Vegas was just like, they were fast. They were taking advantage of the Bruins, off the rush. It was not ideal. The bottom six it was one of those games where it was like they almost clawed their way back, just like the Tampa game. So it was like, they're certainly competing. They're certainly competing in these games, that's for sure. Then you get into Colorado. Colorado was kind of a stinger. Not a stinger, but it was just a slow, just like, that game was just, I was sitting and I was kind of like, the first goal was great. That McAvoy to Beecher pass, I love seeing that. Johnny Beecher slides into the lineup and he gets his first goal in I want to say a while, months. He scored 3 goals back in 2024-25. So to see him plug into the lineup that quickly and to score his first goal, that, you love to see it. Great pass by McAvoy too. It's awesome. One thing I want to note throughout these 2 games, or these games in general, is that Hampus was on and off. I don't think Hampus played in the Vegas game. He played in the Colorado game, and then Utah he didn't. So that was sort of a theme you saw. Let's think of some other notable lineup things. Beecher slides in with Colorado. VL played his first game against Vegas. He scored a goal too. So you saw some. I don't want to say I didn't see this coming, but there was rotation within the bottom 6, especially the fourth line, where you saw VL plug in, where you saw Beecher plug in. Who else shifted throughout the lineup? Yeah, in the Colorado game, there was a big lineup shift between everybody. On the first line, I think Geekie shifted down, Zacha shifted up. Hold on. Geekie shifted down, and then Zacha was on the first line. Geekie, oh wow, they screwed up the numbering on this one on the Bruins thing. Geekie was playing with Middlestat. Mikey Asamont shifted up into the second line. We're gonna get into these lineup shifts and what it overall means. Then you had Janot, Minton, and Victor Arvidsson on the third line, and then fourth line in the Colorado game was Beecher, Kuraly, Kostelic. Overarching theme between the first 2 games, I feel like we'll talk about Colorado because we kind of did Vegas. Colorado was not a game that was fun to watch because offensively the Bruins were stagnant. They couldn't generate any zone time. I think Nesson, I'm big on the zone time stats, especially when you're talking about the Bruins and you're talking about, their play style this year and whatnot. They were not generating much offense, especially throughout the second period. I'll put it this way. The first 2 goals, Swayman allowed in the Colorado game. Then he went on a 22 save streak or something like that before the Avalanche scored again. Within that 22 save streak where he was being an absolute animal, mind you. I'm a Swayman defender this year. Don't test me with skepticism on Jeremy Swayman. Guy is a dog. Goaltending as an overarching theme. Both Korpisalo, we'll get into Utah. Don't worry about it. Goaltending's fine. For me, I don't see a problem with the goaltending. Overall, it's not sustainable to have your goaltending try and win out these games for you. The offense has to come with that good goaltending, with that good defense. The PK as well. The PK as well did a good job. If I go through the 3 games, yeah, you had 39 penalty minutes, and I want to say you killed off majority of them. Hockey Reference won't show me it, but we'll discuss it. Power play, on the other hand, I think went 2 for 9. So that's gotta, don't quote me on that, but that's gotta be fixed. That's definitely gotta be something that figures itself out. But yeah, overall in general, the Colorado game, you have to, if you have good goaltending that's keeping you in a game like that, you have to generate offense on the other side of the ice. And the Bruins were not able to do that in Colorado. You were able to do it against Vegas. You were able to do it. You were able to bounce back. But you have to supplement the good goaltending. It just wasn't fun. So there's that. And yes, I know the teams that you're playing are really good. The teams that you're playing are much more ahead of you in terms of how their roster is structured to play for a Stanley Cup, right? We know Colorado is going to make the playoffs. We know Vegas is probably going to make the playoffs. That's obvious. I just want to put that out there. But it's just, then you get into Utah quickly on that because it's fresh in my head. That game was more of, Pastrnak was running the show offensively. He scored the only 2 goals. The rest of the team, it didn't feel like they got much going. Passing wasn't exactly the best thing in the neutral zone. And Korpisalo kept you in it. Korpisalo was great this game. But overall, with these 3 games, I'm trying to think of any other themes that I'm not getting here in my notes. Here are the themes that I took away from these three losses. Okay? 1, I will preface with saying, these teams, as outside of Utah's probably far less along than a Vegas or a Colorado. These teams are faster than you. These teams or Utah's emerging, but these teams are faster than you. It felt like, from what I watched, the Bruins were getting lapped. It just felt like the Bruins were getting lapped around, like a NASCAR race thing where, we were just playing reactive in a sense to the teams. And that's I feel like is something that the Bruins are going to be throughout the year against better teams. You're going to have to play reactive because when you got a guy like Nathan MacKinnon, Martin Necas, Cale Makar for Colorado, when you got guys on Vegas like Jack Eichel, Mitch Marner, those skill guys are going to be playmakers, are going to drive offense. William Karlsson even went off against us in that Vegas game. But in general, that's something that I noticed, where what the Bruins have doesn't feel like it's sustainable to beat teams in Stanley Cup contending positions, right? It just felt obvious. I felt like goaltending was a bit overworked in these past 3 games. I don't want to put anything on Swayman or Jonas Korpisalo. Those 2 are playing great. In my opinion, they were standouts. MVPs over the tail end of the road trip, especially against Colorado, especially against Utah. But in general, it's just those teams, I think you could tell from what we've seen out of the Bruins so far, they're trending towards that middle of the pack team. You can't have, it's interesting because some games the bottom 6 is generating that offense when you feel like the top 6 needs to. And a notable thing that happened lineup-wise in the 3rd game, Casey Middlestat drew out of the lineup. He was a healthy scratch. Middlestat draws out. Huston Dinov comes into the top 6. What does Huston Dinov do in that Utah game? assists on Pasternak's 395th career goal. That's, way to plug in and do that. But I had mentioned this in a previous pod, and I wanted to get to this in terms of just, where the team is going and what I want to see out of them if they trended this way. So they were winning. They were 3-0, and I was like, the vibes are good. The vibes are great. This is awesome. Now they're not. I'm not worried. I'm not overly concerned because I feel like this is kind of where the Bruins are as a team. They're a middle of the pack team. That's okay. It's just the way I see it now is, okay, you want to start generating offense, you want to start generating shooting. I said if things become stagnant offensively, and Marco Sturm said himself, he goes, I'll paraphrase this. He was saying that your bottom six guys can't be your best players. Your best players need to be something like that. I don't think that offensively the Bruins have something that's sustainable. I don't think they have a system that's sustainable to beat a Vegas, to beat a Colorado. Yes, you can pack it in defensively. The PK was great. The defense was great. The goaltending was great. I can't stress it enough. But if you cannot take that and do what Marco Sturm said from the beginning of his introductory press conference, where you said you go defense to offense. If you can't do that, that's not sustainable. That's not, I feel like that's not going to be a winning formula. You don't want to be we talked about how the Bruins were going to be a 2-1 team grinded out. I don't think that's something that's going to help you win games if you want to. You can compete playing good defense, having good goaltending. But you don't want to grind out these wins all the time. I feel like that's not going to be something that, if you're competing for a playoff spot, I don't know, man. It's just, it doesn't feel like it's something that can work consistently, for me at least. So I look at the Providence Bruins. Those dudes are 4-0. And I know it's the AHL. But I just want to point out something real quick. If you have offense that is currently not generating, Georgi Merkulov, 7 points in 4 games. Lysell, 6 points in 4 games. He had a hat trick the other day. We touched on that. Alex Steeves, 6 points in 4 games. Matej Blumel, 6 points in 4 games. I mean, I feel like it's inevitable. You're going to see a call-up. Either today, by the time I post out this podcast, I mean, Tufte even, 5 and 4. And Potter's definitely in there somewhere. But, in terms of the top AHL scores, we've touched on how good Providence is. I just mentioned, a ton of guys within the AHL in Providence that are playing good, that are shooting the puck. Okay, against Colorado, that was the low of the low. At least against Utah, you were able to start shooting. I will say, though, in the third period, you have to continue that because they didn't. I want to say shots were not that. They were not that. Hold on. Shots on goal by period. 3 shots in the third. Okay, against Colorado, it was probably even worse throughout those 2 periods. Against Colorado, real quick. So against Utah, 3 shots in the third. Against Colorado, it was tied 7-7 in the first. Then it was 2-16. That's not going to work. 5-15 in the third. That's not. It's not something that's going to work. If I go back to Vegas, can I find it on the dashboard? Yes, I can. If I go back to Vegas, 9-11, and I'm listing the Bruins shots first. 7-13, 8-13. That's not as bad. That's not as bad as what I just read before. And even when you talk about Utah, real quick, I'll go back. Yeah, you held the shots. You held the shots pretty good. You held the shot totals pretty good. But then in the third period, you can't take 3 shots. You can't take 3 shots. Especially when you're trailing. You allow that late goal. You can't. Clayton Keller scores that. You can't. Gunther scored in the third period. Sorry. That just can't happen. That just can't happen. So you got to look to the AHL. You have to look to the AHL. If you're doing this many lineup shifts with players already, if you're drawing out Casey Middlestat, okay, that's a $5.75 million player. That's a guy who is getting money, right? To play a position that he should be that he should be sustainable in, right? If you're drawing him out of the lineup, that's a telling sign that you gotta, in my opinion, this is where now, okay, you were 3-0, everything was fine, the system was working. Then you play these better teams, your offense is looking for something. You got a bunch of offensively minded guys down in Providence who are just dominating. I won't even just say playing good, dominating. Give them a call up. Give them a call up because you need to have them. It's beneficial for both sides. The player gets the NHL time, and you get to see what that player can do. You get to see that player's upside. You get to see that player, or you have the opportunity to develop that player. Maybe they carve out a role for themselves at the NHL level. This is why it's a blessing in disguise for the Bruins to be where they are, because you can look to these younger players. You revamped your team for this kind of stuff. This is one of the benefits of having a team like this, is you can look to your younger players, your more offensively driven players, and say, you call them up, you let them learn, you give them that extended run. I cannot stress this enough. I have been for the youngsters, the youth movement. Real quick though, it's not. I mean, Middlestat draws out. Yes, he's scored 2 goals in 6 games, but I mean, maybe it's just a wake-up call from Sturm, but I'm just looking at this and I'm saying, all in all, if you're doing this many lineup shifts, especially against Colorado, where Mikey Asimon is playing second line right wing, Victor Arvidsson draws down. Now, I'm not gonna be harsh on Victor Arvidsson because it feels like he's been, I 1.7 games. I expected more out of him production wise. It does feel like he's pushing it offensively, But at what point do you say, no, we need a guy who's putting the puck in the net? You know what I mean? So that's my overall verdict with the team right now. The system you have right now, it just doesn't feel like it's going to be sustainable to beat those big teams. You gotta get some scoring in that top 6. You gotta get some offensive. You gotta generate some offense. The goaltending, I can't stress enough, has been better. The PK is better. The power play needs to put some pucks in the net. There's no doubt about that. I think I said it last time. I'm going to say it again this time. Power play's got to start potting some. Offense needs to start shooting some. Needs to start generating, okay? That for me is my overarching theme between these 3 games. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. You've been playing pretty good teams. Pretty good hockey teams over these past 4 games. You've been on the road, after Tampa. It's not, I'm going to say it, it's not like last year. We're bringing back last year. It's not like last year where you folded over. Okay? That's okay. It's not like last year where you're folding over. The Bruins are competing. They are in these games. It's just now you look at how you're competing in these games. Okay? You look at where you aren't, you look at where you are, and you adjust. You have the ability to, you have the versatility to within your lineup, within the AHL. If we don't make a call up for someone who's offensively minded, like for me, if I don't see Blumel, if I don't see Patra, if I don't see Lysell get a chance up here, an opportunity to do something, I don't know what to tell you, man. I feel like that's something that needs to happen. That's an opportunity that needs to be given when you're starved for offense. When you're starved for offense, when you need to start shooting. Because Blumel, I feel like, is a guy who shoots the puck a lot. He's a guy who's just going to put the puck on net. Okay, and that's what you brought him in for. There was that sneaky chemistry with Blumel and Zaka that Marco Sturm saw in the preseason. Okay, if you see that in the preseason, you see that, and you liked it. You see what Blumel's doing. He had an overtime winner in one of the games the other day. You see how he's producing in the AHL. Pick up the phone, give him a call, or give somebody a call. Because I want to see a team that's, you're seeing a team that's competing, but I want to see a team that's that's taking what they're doing on defense, taking what they're doing well defensively, and turning that into offense. So can we see that happen? I don't know. It's entirely up to the Bruins. It's up to them. They got quite the stretch coming. It's going to be an emotional game on Tuesday against Brad Marchand and the Florida Panthers. It's his return. I want to let y'all know real quick. I have 2 classes on Tuesday, like 3-hour classes, and then I got a podcast after that for the Boston Hockey Blog. Go listen to Terrier Hockey Talk. But sorry, I probably won't be able to post my reactions to the game, even though it's to date one of the biggest games of the year, which stinks. But school, right? So probably won't be able to react or watch that game in depth. I'll have it on the radio as I'm driving home. Anaheim on Thursday, and then Colorado again on Saturday. So we'll see how these. It's a home stretch, right? Obviously, you're playing a revamped Ducks team on Thursday, an emotional night against Florida on Tuesday, and then you got to host the Avalanche, who just ran circles around you a few days ago. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how the Bruins shift from here. I personally can't wait to see it. Also want to highlight some NCAA things real quick. Dean is up to 4 points in 4 games. Yay. James Hagens scored 2 goals against RPI. Is there anything else that happened? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that happened. I don't think there was. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Got to shift, got to make changes. Offensively, need to see more out of the team. Hopefully we can. So that's just me. Wanted to quickly do this before I get the rest of my day started. You guys should hopefully see this pod up soon. Let me know if I missed anything, any overarching themes or topics you guys want to hear me talk about. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Love you all. Go Bruins, and I will see you legends in the next one.